I need to tell you something I should have said 20 years ago, Juanita whispered across the table. Michael Jordan thought he knew everything about his failed marriage. He was wrong. What his ex-wife confessed that day would haunt him forever. The greatest competitor in sports history was about to discover that his biggest loss wasn't on any basketball court. It was sitting right across from him in a quiet Chicago cafe, wearing the same gentle smile that had captivated him 30 years earlier. This isn't just a story about a failed marriage. It's about what happens when success costs more than we ever imagined. October 15th, 2018. The text message came at 6:47 a.m. Michael, can we meet? There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have said years ago. Michael Jordan stared at his phone. Juanita, his ex-wife of 12 years. They hadn't spoken privately since the custody hearings. Everything went through lawyers, assistants, formal arrangements. But this message felt different, urgent. When and where? He typed back. Today, the coffee shop on Oak Street, 2 p.m., please come alone. At 1:45 p.m., he was sitting in his car outside Brew and Bean, the small cafe where they used to go during their early dating years. Before the championships, before everything fell apart. Juanita walked in at exactly 2 p.m. Even at 59, she moved with the same quiet grace that had first caught his attention in 1984. "Thank you for coming," she said, sliding into the booth across from him. They ordered coffee, black for him, vanilla latte for her, just like old times. The silence stretched between them, filled with 34 years of history. "Juanita, what's this about?" She took a deep breath, her hands wrapped around her coffee cup. "I need to tell you something I should have said 20 years ago. It's about why our marriage really ended." Michael felt his chest tighten. "We've been over this." "No, we haven't. You think you know why we divorced. But the real reason, I never told you the real reason." "Do you remember March 15th, 1998? Juanita asked. Michael searched his memory. "The playoffs? The season we won our 6th championship?" "Game 4 against the Hawks. You scored 42 points that night." "What about it? Do you remember what happened at home?" "I came home late. Team meetings, media interviews, probably around midnight." 1:30 a.m., Juanita corrected softly. "I was awake. I was always awake when you came home during playoffs." "Okay, so?" Juanita's eyes filled with tears. "That night, when you walked through the front door, I was sitting in the living room. Do you remember what I was doing?" Michael tried to picture it. Those playoff runs all blurred together. The late nights, the exhaustion, the focus on winning. "I don't remember." "I was holding a pregnancy test, Michael." The words hit him like a physical blow. "What?" "I was pregnant, 7 weeks. I'd found out that morning and spent the entire day trying to figure out how to tell you." Michael's world tilted. "Pregnant? In 1998? But you never told me." "I tried to that night. I was sitting there, holding the test, so excited. We'd been trying for another baby for months." "What happened?" Juanita's composure cracked, tears spilling down her cheeks. "You walked in, saw me sitting there, and said, 'Not tonight, Juanita. I'm exhausted. Whatever it is can wait until after the playoffs.'" The memory came flooding back with devastating clarity. He could see her now, sitting on their white couch, something in her hands. He'd been so tired, so focused on the championship run. "You went straight upstairs, didn't even kiss me goodnight. Why didn't you tell me anyway?" "Because I realized something that night, Michael. I realized that basketball was more important to you than I was, more important than our family was." 3 days later, Juanita continued, "I lost the baby." Michael felt like he couldn't breathe. "You miscarried?" "I was alone when it happened. You were at practice. I called the team facility, but they said you were in meetings and couldn't be disturbed. So I drove myself to the hospital." "Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried, but every time I brought it up, you had a game to focus on or film to watch. The playoffs lasted 6 more weeks. By the time you were available, it felt too late." Michael ran his hands over his face. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I've been carrying this alone for 20 years, Michael. The guilt, the grief, the anger. Our marriage didn't end because we grew apart. She leaned forward, looking directly into his eyes. Our marriage ended because that night, when I needed you most, you chose basketball over me, and I never forgave you. More importantly, I never forgave myself for not fighting harder. Michael sat in stunned silence. All this time, he'd thought their divorce was about his schedule, the normal strains of being married to a professional athlete. "The baby," he whispered. "Boy or girl? We'll never know. It was too early. What would you have named?" We had talked about David for a boy, Sarah for a girl. Michael closed his eyes, names that would never be called. "Juanita, I'm so sorry. If I had known..." "But that's just it, Michael. You should have known. A husband should notice when his wife is trying to tell him she's pregnant." "I was so focused on the championship." "I know, but it wasn't just that night. It was the pattern. Basketball always came first." Juanita continued. "After I lost the baby, I started paying attention differently. I watched how you prioritized things." "What did you see?" "I saw a man who would miss Marcus's school play for practice, who would skip Jasmine's ballet recital for sponsor meetings, who would cut short family vacations to get back to the gym." Michael wanted to defend himself, but he knew she was right. "I saw a man who loved us, but who loved basketball more. And I realized I was raising my children to believe that's what love looked like, conditional, secondary." "When did you decide to leave?" "The night you came home with your 6th championship trophy." Marcus, who was 8, asked if now that you'd won everything, you could come to his soccer games. Michael remembered that moment. "And you said, 'Maybe next season, son, Daddy needs to focus on staying the best.' That's when I knew I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't watch my children learn that they would always be second place." "Tell me about the kids," Michael said quietly. "Tell me what I missed." Marcus used to have nightmares. He dreamed that you were playing but couldn't hear him calling your name from the stands. He'd wake up crying. Michael felt his heart breaking. "And Jasmine would practice ballet in front of your trophies. She'd dance for hours, pretending you were watching. She'd bow to your championship rings and wait for applause that never came." "Why didn't you tell me this during the divorce?" "Because I was angry. You told everyone that I couldn't handle your success, that I didn't understand the sacrifices needed for greatness. But that's not what happened. No, what happened was that I spent 17 years sacrificing our family for your greatness, and when I finally said enough, you made it my fault." "I thought I was being strong," Michael said, "providing for my family, building a legacy." "You were strong, Michael, but there are different kinds of strength." "What do you mean?" "There's the strength to win championships, and there's the strength to sit with your pregnant wife even when you're exhausted. You had one kind in abundance. The other kind, that's what you never learned." "Could I have learned it?" "You would have had to want to, and wanting it would have meant admitting that being the greatest basketball player wasn't the most important thing in your life." "It wasn't." "Yes, it was, Michael. And that single-minded focus made you legendary, but it's also what cost us our marriage." "There's something else," Juanita said. "Jasmine is pregnant, 3 months along." Michael's eyes widened. Why didn't she tell me?" "Because she's terrified you'll react the same way you did when she had important news as a child. She's afraid you'll be too busy to care." "I would never. You missed her college graduation for a business meeting, Michael." The words hit like a slap. He had missed it. "She's having a baby," he whispered. "Your first grandchild, and she's scared to tell you because she doesn't think you'll have time to be a grandfather. I'll make time. Will you? Or will you make the same promises you made when she was little?" "What can I do?" "Show up, Michael. Not just when the baby is born. Show up now. Show up for doctor's appointments, baby shopping, the boring moments." And Marcus is getting married in 6 months. He almost didn't invite you because he was sure you'd find a reason not to come. I'll be there. Your promises don't mean much to them anymore. You'll have to prove it." "Why are you telling me all this?" Michael asked. "Why help me now?" "Because despite everything, you're still their father, and they need their father to be present." "What about us? Is there any chance we could ever—" Juanita smiled sadly. "No, Michael. Too much has happened. I've built a good life without you." Is there someone else?" "There is. Someone who chooses me every day, not just when it's convenient." Michael nodded, though it hurt. "I'm happy for you." "Are you?" "I'm trying to be. You deserve someone who puts you first." "Yes, I do. And your children deserve a father who puts them first too." As they prepared to leave, Michael took Juanita's hand. "Thank you for telling me about the baby. About all of it. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I'm going to do better, with Marcus and Jasmine, with the grandchild." "I hope so, Michael. Will you help me? Will you tell me when I'm falling back into old patterns?" "If you want me to." "I do. I don't want to make the same mistakes." "Then don't. Show up, Michael. Just show up." Outside the cafe, Juanita said one final thing. "The baby we lost in 1998, I named them anyway, in my heart." "What did you choose?" "Hope, because even though we lost them, they represented hope for our family." Michael felt tears building. Maybe this grandchild can be hope's gift to us, a second chance to do it right. As Juanita walked away, Michael finally understood the full cost of his greatness. He had gained the world and lost the people who mattered most. But maybe it wasn't too late to start again. 6 months later, Michael Jordan walked his son Marcus down the aisle. He didn't check his phone once during the ceremony. When Jasmine gave birth to Hope, yes, she named the baby Hope, Michael was the first person at the hospital. He held his granddaughter for 3 hours straight, making promises he intended to keep. The conversation with Juanita didn't save their marriage. Some things are too broken to be fixed. But it saved Michael's relationship with his children. Sometimes the greatest victory is learning that winning isn't everything. Sometimes the greatest strength is admitting you were wrong. Michael Jordan conquered the basketball world, but it took losing everything else to learn what really mattered. The conversation that broke his heart also gave him a chance to heal the hearts he'd broken. That's the real story of Michael Jordan's greatest comeback. Not on a basketball court, but in a quiet cafe on a Tuesday afternoon, when a broken man finally learned how to love the way his family had always needed him to. Some conversations change everything. Some apologies come too late to save what's lost, but just in time to save what's left.